Those stars, I'm a fool for your love.
One, two, three, action. Hi guys, good morning. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me again, Sophia, and if you have noticed, we already have two videos uploaded here on our channel. The first one was the MTV about the nervous system and the neurons. We tried to be creative and change the lyrics of the song Neurons by Dua Lipa and replace it with the parts and function of the nervous system and neurons. The second one was the movie that we produced last week, which was entitled Phantasm, that has also something to do with biological psychology. So if you're interested, please do watch it. The link will be put on the description box below, and hit the like button if you like it. So, okay, I'm done promoting. So, for today's video, I will be diving deeper into the nervous system and its influence on our emotional behavior. So, without further ado, let's go on and tackle it.
We have heard, at one time or another, the instruction to follow your heart. In fact, on our daily lives, we are peppered with sayings that cast the heart in a starring role when it comes to decision making and emotions. From the term heartbroken and heartless to the expression take something to heart, some people even contended that there may be a scientific basis for these terminologies, citing the alleged existence of the brain cells in the heart and implying that the blood pumping organ might indeed have a mind of its own. But can you really think with your heart? It's time for some myth busting.
Let's first take a look at the claim that there are brain cells in the heart. The human brain, like all other parts of the body, is made up of cells. One crucial cell type in the brain is a neuron, a specialized cell with structures that allow it to send and receive information from other cells using electrical signals called action potentials. Our brain contains a whole lot of neurons, roughly 86 billion. But neurons are found in other parts of the brain too, including the gut and the heart. These neurons are part of the autonomic nervous system, which regulates vital functions like digestion and heart rate. The heart contains far fewer neurons than the nugget, and their job is not to think in a way that folks have misinterpreted. They help the heart react to the various demands placed on it by the body. Because the heart has such an important job, it needs to have cells that help regulate its beating. For example, our hearts must adjust every time we stand up or sit down to keep our blood pressure at the right level and ensure we don't pass out. But this system acts largely unconsciously, which should be a relief. Imagine if you had to unconsciously control your heart's activities every time you move. The neurons in the heart do communicate with the brain by providing feedback signals, which in turn may affect our emotions. When we experience something physically, it can change our emotional state. When our hearts race, we may feel anxious. This communication does not mean the heart is thinking for itself. However, as clinical neurologist Dr. Steven Novella explains, neurons alone do not equal mind or consciousness. It takes the specialized organization of neurons in the brain to produce cognitive processes that we experience as a mind.
So, despite the presence of neurons in the heart, we can say that the heart does not have a mind of its own. Our hearts are complex, vital organs, but the association of the brain and the heart is best left to metaphor, not And now that we have already solved the myth and we already know that the brain is still the control center of the body and not the heart, and that the brain and the heart communicate with each other to provide feedback signals which may affect our emotions. And because of that, we are now going to dive deeper into the brain itself, the nervous system, and its influence to our emotional behavior.
The nervous system in humans is made of the brain and spinal cord, along with the primary sense organs and all the nerves associated with these organs. The brain and the spinal cord form the central nervous system or the CNS. All other neural tissue is brought under the umbrella of the peripheral nervous system or the PNS. Therefore, the PNS includes neurons within sense organs, other sensory nerves, and all motor nerves that deliver messages to different parts of the body. The primary function of the nervous system is to receive information and to generate a response to that stimulus. The information and the response could be simple, subtle, or complex. For instance, when a hot object is touched, its temperature is conveyed quickly to the central nervous system, and the response is an immediate reflex of removing the hand through the action of skeletal muscles. A few such incidents could also lead to the formation of learning and long-term memory, encoded as series of neural connections. The nervous system is one of two organ systems that maintain internal order within the body. It coordinates the activities of muscles and organs, receives input from sense organs, triggers reactions, generates learning and understanding, and provides protection from danger.
Which part of the brain really controls our emotional behavior?
The limbic system is the area of the brain most heavily implicated in emotion and memory. Its structures include the hypothalamus, thalamus, amygdala, and hippocampus. The processes of the limbic system control our physical and emotional responses to environmental stimuli. This system categorizes the experience of an emotion as a pleasant or unpleasant mental state. Based on this categorization, neurochemicals such as dopamine, noradrenaline, and serotonin increase or decrease, causing the brain's activity level to fluctuate and resulting in changes in body movement, gestures, and poses. Emotion is a complex psychophysiological experience of an individual's state of mind as it is interacting with biochemical and environmental influences. Emotions can be explained in biological and neurological terms. The limbic system, autonomic nervous system, and reticular activating system all interact to assess the body in experiencing and processing emotions. The second part of the brain that is responsible for our emotional behavior is the amygdala. It is located in the left and right temporal lobes of the brain. It has received a great deal of attention from researchers investigating the biological basis of emotions, particularly of fear and anxiety. The amygdala plays a decisive role in the emotional evaluation and recognition of situation as well as in the analysis of potential threats. It handles external stimuli and induces vegetative reactions. Next is the hippocampus. The hippocampus is also involved in emotional processing. As with the amygdala, research has demonstrated that hippocampal structure and function are linked to a variety of mood and anxiety disorders. Individuals suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD shows marked reductions in volume in several parts of the hippocampus, which may result of decreased levels of the neurogenesis and dendritic branching. Next is the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system or the ANS is part of the peripheral nervous system in humans. It is regulated by the hypothalamus and controls our internal organs and glands, including such processes as pulse, blood pressures, breathing, and arousal in response to emotional circumstances. The ANS is generally thought to be outside of voluntary control. The ANS can be further subdivided into the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. When activated, the sympathetic nervous system or the SNS controls the endocrine glands to prepare the body for emergency action. SNS activation causes the adrenal glands to produce epinephrine, also known as adrenaline, which results in the fight or flight response. The last part of the nervous system that has influence on our emotional behavior is the reticular activating system or the RAS. It is a network of neurons that runs through the core of the hindbrain and into the midbrain and forebrain. The RAS is involved with arousal and attention, sleep and wakefulness, and the control of reflexes. The RAS is believed to be the first arouse the cortex and then maintain its wakefulness so that the sensory information and emotion can be interpreted more effectively. It helps us fulfill goals by directing our concentration towards them and plays a role in individuals' responses to situations and events.
The James Lange theory is one of the best known examples of physiological theory of emotions, independently proposed by psychologist William James and physiologist Carl Lange. The James Lange theory of emotions suggests that emotions occur as a result of physiological reactions to events. This theory suggests that when you see an external stimulus that leads to physiological reaction, your emotional reaction is dependent upon how you interpret those physical reactions. For example, suppose you're walking in the woods and you see a grizzly bear. You begin to tremble, and your heart begins to race. The James Lange theory proposes that you will interpret your physical reactions and conclude that you are frightened. I am frightened, therefore I am trembling. According to this theory of emotions, you are not trembling because you are frightened. Instead, you feel frightened because you are trembling. Another example of theories of emotion is the cognitive appraisal theory. According to appraisal theories of emotion, thinking must occur first before experiencing emotion. Richard Lazarus was a pioneer in this area of emotion, and this theory is often referred as the Lazarus theory of emotion. According to this theory, the sequence of events first involves stimulus, followed by thought, which then leads to the simultaneous experience of physiological response to the emotion. For example, if you encounter a bear in the woods, you might immediately begin to think that you are in a great danger. This then leads to the emotional experience of fear and the physical reactions associated with the fight or flight response.